Hi everyone, Happy New Year and welcome back to Way to Eat. So to kickstart the year 2025, I would like for us to discuss 5 things that I think we need to ditch. As Africans, as Zambians, I think it's something that we need to leave behind. And as we move forward in nurturing our diets and ensuring that we eat healthy, I think these 5 things need to be taken care of. And number 1, diet in the workplace. What we eat or what is served in the workspace is also very important. What is in our canteens? We spend 8 hours at the office. You know, having been in the corporate world for 10 years now, what I normally see is if it's a workshop that you are having, there's what we call tea breaks. Others have tried to call it health break, but no, they're not health breaks. Let's be honest. Our tea breaks are usually loaded with a lot of calories that can be avoided. Number 1, foods like scones and cupcakes and sausages and samosas and all those foods. These are foods that are loaded with a lot of energy, but really do not give us much. We end up overeating, and so I feel personally those need to be cut out. Because first of all, in these hotels or lodges where we have these meetings, you find that there's already a good lunch meal provided. And then on top of that, you have your tea break at 10 a.m. and then another tea break at 3 p.m. Before you can even start digesting your lunch meal, you're already having a tea break in the afternoon. And then you get home, your dear family has prepared for you another plate of nshima and God knows what else. And so that results in us overeating. And especially those who are in the corporate world, you find that kind of eating or that kind of lifestyle results in unnecessary weight gain, which becomes very difficult to manage if you do not curb it now. So really, I'll call upon companies out there, I'll call upon the caterers out there to be more mindful about what is served in some of these places. I've seen a few areas where they are mindful. They'll give you apples and bananas and a variety of other fruits, but in most cases it's usually those finger foods that are loaded with unnecessary amounts of energy. Secondly, I think overconsumption of nshima. Okay, I know I've talked about nshima before on this platform, and some of you I've made some pretty good comments about nshima and how I need to leave the nshima alone. But hey, I'm sorry, I have to talk about it. We eat way too much nshima. Whether it's in a good form, we've talked about the form of nshima that is best to consume, which is the less refined, mgayoa. I've talked about that a lot, which is good, but the quantity also matters. How much nshima we are eating. Oftentimes in these places, especially places where you have no control over the portion to dish for yourself, you find that if it's dished for you, it's usually a big portion of nshima with very little else. So let's be mindful about how much nshima we are also consuming. If you eat nshima in the morning, which is okay, but nshima in the evening, especially late at night, is not a good idea. By 20 hours, we are normally all back home. But if 20 hours is the time that you are choosing to eat nshima, that is a wrong idea, because the amount of nshima you're going to eat will go nowhere. The excess energy goes nowhere. Let's minimize on the nshima, and let me just say carbohydrates in general, but we all know that the main carbohydrate food in Zambia is nshima. Number 3, exercise. Exercise is good for the heart, good for blood circulation, and so on and so forth. But unfortunately, I feel as though we use exercise sometimes in the wrong way. Most of us have made some good resolutions this year, like, oh, I need to lose some weight, I need to get back into shape, which is good, but we often say we have to exercise to do that. But we never think of what we are eating, or more importantly, how we are eating. In as much as exercise is good, oftentimes, and the number of people at the end of the year would say, well, I've done everything I can to exercise and I'm still not losing the weight. It's one thing to exercise. Just the other day, I usually have this nice app on my phone that tells me how many calories I'm losing as I'm doing my exercise. And I did quite a lot, and it only came up to about 300-400 kilocalories lost. If you really convert to food, that's probably just the nshima that you eat at lunch. So imagine you do this brilliant exercise in the evening, whatever time you exercise, and then only to put it back on. My point here is, let's also be mindful about the diet. The number of gyms now coming up, these exercise boot camps that are coming up, which is good. And truth be told, you will lose some weight if you are very intense about it, and if you stick to the plan that you are given by these fitness instructors. Because weight loss is really a simple equation of energy in being less than energy out. So if you're expending more, you're definitely going to lose more. But then pack it back on. If you remember, there was this TV show called The Biggest Loser. Majority of those people who lost a lot of weight have actually said they've put the weight back on. That's because we focus a lot more on exercise and not our diets, and most importantly, our lifestyles. Ask yourself, is my resolution to lose weight this year going to be sustainable? Or is it going to be, oh, now that I've lost whatever, I can fit in my wedding dress, or I can fit in my favorite kind of clothes, and so then that's it. I'll go back to eating the way I used to. No, it has to be a lifestyle change. If it's not something that you're going to do for the rest of your life, think again. Number 4, alcohol abuse. Alcohol has a number of harmful things it does to the body. It slows down your digestion. It builds fat in your liver. You develop a fatty liver. It results in chronic diseases like liver cirrhosis and a number of other diseases, heart disease, stroke, you name it. It's really a catalyst for a number of problems. And you do not want to put yourself or your family in such situations. You know, we used to say a glass or 2 of wine a day is okay. But actually, more and more evidence is showing that there is no safe amount of alcohol to consume. And so, let's ditch it. Number 5, I feel as though we are being bombarded with a lot of foods that nature did not create. Foods that are toxic to our bodies, foods that are causing a lot of harm in the name of convenience. You just want to walk out of the gate, find food there, eat, and you're good to go. But that comes at a price. You're loading your body with a number of toxins. It's affecting your mental health. It's affecting your quality of life without knowing it. So I think it's important that we scrutinize what we are eating, read food labels, know what is in it. To the Zambian-owned businesses, we love you, we support you, we need you to grow our economy. But honestly speaking, I think it's important that businesses in Zambia become more honest about what they put in their foods. I've seen a number of wrong adverts out there, wrong claims, nutritional claims at that, where you're telling people that this thing contains vitamins and minerals, and you say it will boost your child's health, even foods advertised to young children. Yet we have a code of marketing of breast milk substitutes, and we are actually advertising some of these foods to our young ones and using celebrities simply because you can pay them. Let's be honest, even as celebrities, please, whatever you say for some of us goes. Take control of your power and scrutinize some of these adverts. Don't just take the back home, but also scrutinize and say, okay, what really will I be doing by supporting this cause or advertising this product? Especially food products, because food is life. We cannot do without food. So if a food is actually harmful, especially advertised to young children who really depend on us for their nutrition, if we are advertising wrong foods for them, you are really misleading a number of parents and guardians out there, and we will now have the next generation not having the nutrition that they are supposed to have. So I think those are the 5 things that I wanted to share with you this year that we need to ditch and be careful about. And right now I just want us to talk about 5 good things that we are doing right. So firstly, for me, I'm seeing a lot of people exercising nowadays, which is good because, you know, in as much as exercise only contributes maybe to 20% of your weight management, but it also does tremendous other good things like improving your blood circulation, improving your heart health, improving mental health, which is very important and also is becoming a growing concern in Zambia. But with exercise, it reduces a lot of stress and helps you take control. Number 2, this is my favorite personally, the growing number of Matebeto places around the country. For me, I see that as a plus. The demand is growing, which is good, you know, because we are all looking for convenience. But if it's only fast food that is out there, it becomes difficult to make healthy food choices even when you want to. But because of the growing Matebeto places, I can still go and not only have a healthy meal, but an indigenous Zambian meal. Just the other day I had tindingoma with a lumandaya salad and my nice piece of fish and shima. That is a great thing, but maybe I'll just ask places that serve indigenous foods on shima to also consider using the right kind of maize meal flour. You know, mugaiwa would be best. Try to shift your clients towards that kind of mshima, because that white mealie meal that you serve, Number 3, I would also like to commend our male folk out there. There is a growing number of males that are taking interest in issues of nutrition, not for themselves, but for their families. I've conducted a number of radio programs at community radio stations, and this is just not Lusaka here. I'm talking about rural. But whenever we've had a phone-in program where we are calling on people to ask questions and interact, we've seen a growing number of men actually calling and saying, okay, so my child has this problem, what do I do? I went to the clinic, this is what I was told. And it just shows that men are becoming interested. I don't know if it's because of that policy at clinics now that say when the man comes to the clinic with the child, they are the first ones to be served. I don't know. But in any case, I'm seeing a number of men, even on social media, showing off, carrying their children on the back, just that love that the children will remember to say, my father did this with me, my father fed me, my father cared about what I ate, my father provided food for me to eat. And I think that is a great thing. Number 4, give a shout out to companies that are producing healthy food alternatives for the public. Indigenous Zambian foods. I'm very big on indigenous Zambian foods because I feel our food has been adulterated too much. The common foods that we eat, what we normally say local foods, have been seriously adulterated with all kinds of fertilizers, all kinds of pesticides. And so I'm now big on foods that are more organic. And what better way than the wild foods, especially that we get straight from the forest, where we've added no fertilizer, no whatever. That's my go-to, and that's what I would really want to see more and more in my diets as well as in yours. And so really kudos to companies that are making this possible and more readily available. I'm seeing a number of companies that are making Mabuyu drink, Musekesa drink, Gai drink, and a number of other drinks out there that are competing with these other toy drinks that lie to us that there are 5 vitamins and there's so many minerals and made from real fruits. Meanwhile, it's just sugar and nothing else. It's just zigolo, so to speak. But we are having companies that are actually using indigenous Zambian foods and putting them on the shelves to compete with toy foods. Last but not the least, I would also like to thank you, people out there who are hungry for nutrition information. You've actually motivated me and a number of other colleagues of mine in the nutrition field to use these various platforms to get the message out to you. We are seeing a growing hunger for nutrition information, maybe because you are going through a non-communicable disease, could be cancer, diabetes, whatever be the case. Or if you're not the one affected, usually we know someone out there who is affected by some of these diseases, and so we are beginning to see this growing increase to say, can we talk about nutrition? Can we have the knowledge out there? We're seeing also even our leaders, the political leadership, the policy makers are really coming forth and saying, can we start talking about nutrition? What is it that we need to do? And this year, 2025, I think nutrition is going to take a different course in this country. I know there's a consumer guide being developed. So thank you for taking keen interest, and hopefully you will continue to keep us on our toes and make sure that we deliver what the people really need and not just what they want. So until next time, bye.
Way to eat. Subscribe.